Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 Let's Play. We are at part 3 of the very hard playthrough with Sonic the Hedgehog, and we're wrapping up Sonic's session tonight with this very part. And I apologize for the late upload, ladies and gentlemen, but as you can tell by the timestamp of the video, we got quite a beefer for you tonight. We're doing the last 3 stages in Sonic's lineup, so we got Tropical Jungle, we have Kingdom Valley, and we finally wrap things up with Aquatic Base. Then after a small break, we're going to begin with Silver's playthrough, and then we will finally finish things up with Shadow's very hard mode. With that said, Tropical Jungle. Looks like Elise is going to be with us for this adventure because, unlike Dusty Desert, there are some assets of Tropical Jungle that you pretty much need Elise for, considering what they have in store for Sonic in very hard mode. In fact, very hard mode when it comes to Tropical Jungle decides to change things up a bit in terms of level design. I mean, you're going through the stage normally, only you got more enemies in your way. Obviously, the enemies are tougher, and the variety is also has been racked up a bit. But in terms of where exactly you go after this part of the level is a bit different. We'll see you'll see what I mean as we go along. But this right here is probably the most bullshit part of the stage in very hard mode. Even in the normal playthrough, if luck really just doesn't like you. The way I am taking is the really specific and strict route where you have to use the homing attack to grab the roses and then jump from vine to vine whenever the rose glows. That is pretty much the safest way to go, because there are 3 pathways when you begin grinding that jungle rail. The one on the left is the one I just took. There's the one on the right that you can take if you just stay on the rail long enough. And then there's the middle path, where you pretty much have to homing attack the group of enemies, and then homing attack your way to the spring, which lets you grind on the tree and stuff like that. Avoid that pathway like the plague, especially in very hard mode, because for some odd fucking reason, there are some instances where the spring that's supposed to launch you up to the tree trunks to grind on doesn't work. Sonic will hit the spring will make its, spring animation, it will make the sound anyway, but Sonic won't go anywhere. He'll just fall straight to his death. Now that's happened to me on a number of occasions when I'm just playing Tropical Jungle normally, but in very hard mode, it happened like, out of the 6 test playthroughs I did, it happened to me like 5 out of 6 times. And I don't know what causes it. Well, I mean, you could just say the answer is Sonic 06, obviously, but I don't know the legitimate means of what causes the spring to just malfunction like that. So stick to the pathway that I chose during that grind rail section. You'll be rewarded with an extra life for timing your homing attacks and button presses well enough, so that's always nice. But as you can tell now, this is a little different from the normal playthrough. In very hard mode, Sonic actually has to go through the section that Silver and Rouge the Bat go through when they're in Tropical Jungle. So Sonic's in completely new territory here, and pretty much this place is quite the maze, and you have to take advantage of the special power that Elise gives you when you hold down the R trigger, which pretty much allows you to walk on bodies of water. They can also destroy objects. I must stress, however, that it's not a shield, and it won't protect you from getting hit from stray bullets, missiles. Even though it can damage enemies, it doesn't protect you in the slightest, and I always found that confusing. But despite that, in very hard mode, Sonic and Elise don't go through Sonic's second act of Tropical Jungle, the one with all the multiple pathways and grind rails and turtles and stuff like that. This is pretty much Silver's section, only with Sonic, and this is probably the most dangerous part of the stage. Right before it ends, you take that warp point and you're warped inside this cage-like arena, and you have to be really quick to kill the enemies before your meter runs out, and then homing attack to the gold ring. Well, not homing attack, but use a shield and get to the gold ring in time before you run out. Otherwise, you're gonna die and you gotta restart from the checkpoint. So, at the very least, Tropical Jungle tries to change things up a bit. When it comes to very hard mode, you're not just going through the stage in reverse. They're actually throwing a completely different level design in your face, one that Sonic has never been through in the normal game. But that's about it, though. Now it's time for Kingdom Valley. Kingdom Valley is it's not that different in terms of level design. They just decided to make things a little harder for you in terms of the grind rails that are made out of air. You remember these things, I'm sure you do. These are a little more disjointed. So now you have to use homing attack chains to safely cross bottomless pits. And then there are times where like the homing attack, not the homing attack, the grind rails like to just split apart and you have to carefully jump from rail to rail. And the only thing I can tell you from that is the homing attack automatically homes in on the rail, so use that to your advantage. Kingdom Valley is also very much filled with one thing I absolutely cannot stand in this game. It's light speed trails. Now in Mach speed sections, I don't mind them too much because they, for the most part, they help you when it comes to straightening yourself out and avoiding projectiles and just obstacles in general. During normal gameplay, however, and especially when you get the bounce bracelet, there's a good chance that when you try to use the light speed dash attack on a trail of rings, that Sonic won't respond to it and it will instead do the bounce bracelet attack instead, sending him straight down, not going anywhere. And in very hard mode case, there are a lot of ring trails that are placed above bottomless pits, and if it doesn't work, your ass is dead. And it infuriates me. I can't say that enough. It drives me nuts. Kingdom Valley and Wave Ocean in particular was pretty bad with that. And needless to say, I lost a lot of lives during test playthroughs where, you know, the deaths you're not seeing. And again, I edit stuff out very much like the Let's Play just for the sake of keeping things going. And the only thing I can really tell you is that I just hope that programming is on your side. I really shouldn't have to say that when it comes to, you know, when it comes to the mechanics working or not, because it's nothing like Sonic Adventure 2 or Sonic Heroes where well, no, Sonic Heroes had it pretty bad too with the Lightspeed Dash, but, you know, in Sonic Adventure 2, you didn't really have to worry about the Lightspeed Dash not working properly over bottomless pits. It was just whether or not you actually do the Lightspeed attack at all, but over the somersault. But in Sonic 06, no, it's a lot of do or die with the Lightspeed rings, and I hate that level design. It's dumb. That's my critique of the day, ladies and gentlemen. It's dumb. But with Kingdom Valley, the second act, you get a sample of what Silver's going to have to deal with when we eventually get to his very hard mode. And Silver, at the time of I'm recording this, ladies and gentlemen, I've already completed the very hard mode with Silver, and just for the sake of giving you guys a sneak peek, Silver stages are pretty fucking long. I'm not kidding. Very hard mode for Silver, it just means we're going to throw a fuckload more of enemies that you're on your way. And we're also going to take away the characters you know and love. With the exception of that one character you can't stand, because everyone wants more of her, right? Right? Anybody? Guess not. So yeah, there'll be good times ahead when we finally get to Silver very hard mode. However, when it comes to the rest of Kingdom Valley, it's pretty much more of the same thing. How many times have I said that at this point? I think we're over 8. Here's a neat little trick for you. If you abuse the hover jump around here, you'll automatically skip to Sonic, so you don't have to go through that tower sequence with Silver. Anything to save a bit of time, and since I've already completed this with the normal playthrough, there's no more. I'm not going to waste any more of your time that I already am. Thank you for watching. Oh boy. So, one thing that I am going to do for the Silver and Shadow playthroughs, because, you know, there's no way in hell that I can possibly keep this playthrough going with redundant commentary, you know, because I can't stress enough how much very hard mode doesn't change much compared to what you do in the normal playthroughs. And here's what I was talking about with Kingdom Valley. It's like now the grind rails are very sporadic, and you have to watch out for the disjointed grind rails. Use the homing attack when you can. If you want to go for that rainbow loop, you go right ahead. You pretty much skip this entire sequence if you manage to hit it. And just remember that your homing attack can defy gravity. So it doesn't matter if that grind rail is above you, Sonic will reach it, because Sonic 06. What I was getting at earlier, for Silver and Shadow's very hard mode playthroughs, ladies and gentlemen, not only are we going to have longer videos, because I'm not kidding, Silver's levels can be pretty fucking long. Like the first level that you do with Silver, like Crisis City, it goes about 8 minutes. I can't remember if it lasted that long in his normal playthrough, but Very hard mode Crisis City with Silver lasts about 8 minutes. That's just one level. And remember, I said that each video will have 3 levels apiece for each character, so, you know, we're talking about videos that are well above like 21 plus minutes for Silver and possibly Shadow. So, considering the Let's Play that I did earlier of this game, there's no way in hell I can keep the commentary going for that, so I'm going to pull a Clement here. For the next 6 videos, for the entirety of Silver and Shadow's playthrough, I'm pretty much going to be making it a Q&A Let's Play. So, on this video here, if you have any questions you want to ask me, 1 question per viewer, by the way. If I see multiple questions at all from the same username, I'm only going to be looking at 1. Now, you know what? I'll raise the stakes a bit. I'm only taking 1 question per user, and 1 question only. So if I see you post multiple questions, whether it's on the same comment thread or if you just post 1 question now and then 5 hours later post 1 question later, I'm just going to ignore you entirely. 1 question, you know, per username. I will answer it. And folks, if you really do want to get me to answer a question, be sure it's not a repeat of what somebody else says. So take the 30 seconds it requires to scroll down, see what everyone else is asking to see if your question is the same. Otherwise, you know, you won't get answered. So if there's anything you would like to ask me for, I don't know, it could be about anything. It could be about Sonic 06. Why the hell do I keep coming back to it? It could even be about that Sonic Boom fiasco shit that's been happening throughout the entire day. The Let's Play channel, the future stuff, all that kind of jazz, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Q&A Let's Play from now on, after this part's over. So have at it, and I will look forward to answering your questions, very much like disc jockeys take requests at 2 in the morning. Have you guys ever heard that one clip from what was it, Casey Kasem? Pretty much a top 40s radio disc jockey. He takes requests and then he reads them out loud. And there was one time where he had like a nuclear meltdown live on the air when he was reading no, I forgot what he was reading, but he got apparently really angry about it, and it's actually really funny listen to, because I like Casey Kasem's voice. There's just something about how quirky and charming the guy sounds, and then to hear him drop F-bombs and stuff like that just makes it kind of funny. It's like he's the voice of, he was the voice of Shaggy from in Scooby-Doo back when it first aired. And he was actually Shaggy for a very long time after that. And I think he stopped finally voicing Shaggy in the 2000s, so the guy had work cut out for him. Oh yeah, there's a Kingdom Valley run through going on in front of me, I suppose, yeah. 8 minutes in Kingdom Valley, so it's definitely a meaty level, but the Mach Speed section hasn't seen much of a difference either. With a few more light dashes, we are at the end of the stage. And thankfully, that gold ring is there before we smash our heads into the wall at 3,000 miles per hour. And I went well above and beyond, and I got the S rank, no problem. Because again, those time bonuses are quite bloated. And for the final stage of Sonic the Hedgehog's very hard mode, we have Aquatic Base. And just like last time, you can use the kick attack to completely avoid getting hurt by those laser barriers. Assuming they're in a formation that doesn't completely block your way. Because when the laser barriers are, when they're activated, they pretty much act as an invisible wall too. Being a well-placed slide kick, and you completely ignore it. It acts like if you don't have a hitbox, you're completely invulnerable to it. But at this point in time, I realized that I really didn't want to go without using gems too much. But Aquatic Base is pretty much asking for it, because one thing, it's about as long as Aquatic Base lasted in the normal playthrough. And you know, the deal with Aquatic Base in normal mode was that they just like to throw off fuckload of enemies at you, because you know, you're at the final level with Sonic. It's only appropriate that you have to wreck a lot of shit up. But that was also the key of getting the S rank. You know, you had to pretty much, you were never going to get a good time bonus in Aquatic Base, because the stage is broken up into a lot of segments where you have to kill so many enemies at one given time. And very hard mode is no different, only now they throw a hell of a lot more enemies at you. And once again, they are the key to getting an S rank. Kill everything in sight. Every time you see these magnetic poles, go for them, because they pretty much act as a screen nuke. It wipes out everything that's near the magnetic pole. So not only do you get the bonuses from killing all the enemies, you also get a bonus from killing all the enemies with the screen nuke. So it's like a 2-for-1 deal. And again, you got large enemies in your way, you use the homing attack and the bounce bracelet, particularly the bounce bracelet. It makes very short work of big enemies. And that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. You see, at this point in time, it's like, I'm looking at this and like, I really don't feel like writing this thing legitimately, so space jump away! And if you're just joining in for this playthrough, I find it a bit odd that you would join for this very hard playthrough. But in case you're not aware, yes, I'm using the gems now with Sonic. Gems are pretty much power-ups you buy at the store when you're playing the game normally, and you can find them in the Soliana Hub world. And the gems pretty much allow Sonic to do multiple things, and because that meter on the bottom right there that you saw glowing there was never properly implemented with Sonic, you can use the gems as much as you want. The purple gem in particular allows Sonic to shrink in size for some odd reason, and it also allows him to do infinite jumps in midair. So you can use it to really break a lot of levels. In the case of Aquatic Base, you can use it to skip that silver sphere puzzle where you have to guide the silver sphere along the corridor and avoid touching the laser barriers, because if the ball gets hurt at all, it pops and you go down. You may have noticed that I'm also not as graceful with these later levels as I am with the earlier levels, because at this point in time I didn't really practice much with very hard mode in Aquatic Base. Not that much was changed differently to begin with, mind you, but I was definitely a little more lax with the playthrough at this point in time, so I really just don't give a fuck anymore at this point. And Aquatic Base, aesthetically not very pleasing, if I do say so. I love the music, Act 1 and Act 2 especially, you know, great pieces of music, but, you know, the thing with this level is you're just killing a bunch of shit. I mean a lot of shit. And this is also one of the rare levels where you actually have to utilize all three amigos here. So there are sections with Sonic, there are sections with Tails, and there's also one point or another where you switch to Knuckles at. And if I recall correctly, I don't think any other... Well, let me see, off the top of my head. I don't believe there's any level with Shadow or Silver that requires you to control all three party members at a specific point in time. Like, I know, like, Dusty Desert with Silver has Silver switching with Amy every once in a while, and then there are occasions where Silver switches with Blaze. But I think this is the only level in the game where you have to utilize all three characters. Not counting the end of the world, obviously, because, you know, that's the point of the level. But in, like, a normal playthrough, I think this is the only level where you have to utilize all three amigos. Three amigos, the name of that. That's a mental image. So let me see. I'm 18 minutes in this video at this point in time, and I still got the video off the top of my head. I can't see the timestamp from here. I can only see how long I'm in the video. What am I? I got like 6 minutes left. Yeah. Yeah, I believe I have officially entered a Lost for Words. The only thing that right now it's really swimming through my head is that whole Sonic Boom thing. But I'm not really going to talk about that. I placed an embargo on myself to not really talk about that until we do the Brain Scratch Comms Impressions video tomorrow. Well, at the time of this recording, obviously. You know, so I got things to say, but I want to save it for that video. That's half of the fun, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, I'm just pretty much enjoying all the reactionary posts on Facebook and Twitter. It really one of the best times of when a Sonic game is announced is right when it's officially announced, you know, because you get all the reactionary images, the funny JPEGs, the PNGs, the GIFs. You know, it's really is a good time, especially when the jokes are really nailed on the head. And an announcement of a Sonic game is certainly no different. And with Sonic Boom being so different, it can lead to a lot more. It can lead to more reactions, both positive and negative. I'm thinking back though, like, in terms of the Let's Play channel, well, the next Sonic game we're going to do for the Let's Play channel is Heroes. And I still haven't decided whether or not I really want to record all 4 episodes of that damn thing. Yeah, I think in the end we really would need to. Like, I would control Team Sonic, Elliot would control Team Rose, and Matt would control Team Dark. And I guess we would just switch it up for the sake of Team Chaotic, so maybe someone will lose a bet. And then someone will have to play Team Chaotic as a result of that. But yeah, the next mainstream Sonic game we're going to do is Heroes. At some point or another, we will get to the handheld games, you know, like the Game Gear games, or the Sonic Advance series, Rush Adventure, Colors, you know. We're going to get all of them covered, don't never doubt that. Just, you know, different points in time, I suppose. We all have our priorities, we all have our games that we want to do at one specific time or another. You know, really, I'm the one that really requests to do Sonic games at certain points. Like, it's really up to me that decides when are we gonna do another Sonic game, especially after Heroes, because they're pretty much a lot my Let's Plays. You know, because I take the helm of Sonic whenever I possibly can. And after Heroes, you know, the only thing you have left is Shadow the Hedgehog, which I'm playing. Then you have Sonic Unleashed, which is Sonic from beginning to end, Colors, Sonic from beginning to end, Generation, Sonic from beginning to end, so yeah. I'll get to them as, you know, I'll get to them in rather short amount of time, but, you know, I don't want to overflood the Let's Play channel with Sonic videos. Gotta make sure Elliot and Matt get their picks too. Whether it's Weekend RPGs, SmackDown Sundays, you know, another Zelda game, or Walking Dead. That's the one Elliot wants to continue with. So yeah, are you convinced yet by Very Hard Mode? Don't you just want to, you know, reach in your pocket, spend the $6 to get Very Hard Mode for all 3 characters? Come on, sure you do. You don't really need that Happy Meal from McDonald's. You don't need that Value Meal from Burger King, or the Baconator from Wendy's. Am I making you hungry yet? I hope I am. You should probably eat something. You haven't eaten anything all day, have you, Jeff? This is certainly worth the category of DLC. Worthy DLC, I should case, because anything could be DLC technically. I mean, it's very odd to me that they never really took advantage of the whole, you know, when a game is shit or it's not exactly stable when it's first released, you do something called patch updates. You release patches to fix the game or to fix problems that the game had to make your experience a little more stable, for lack of a better word. And Sonic 06, to my knowledge, never got any of that. It got DLC releases, which I believe were also as part of the disc, because I do believe Very Hard Mode was only like 100 kilobytes in size, which usually means that's content within the disc itself. But they never decided to fix anything. None of the slowdown, none of the load times, none of the awkward controls or anything like that. Now maybe that was expensive, but considering that Sonic the Hedgehog was pretty much the only thing Sega has at this point in time, especially in 2006, they just didn't give a fuck with this game, ladies and gentlemen. They really stopped caring. And you know what? I'm glad. I'm glad this game is the train wreck that it is, because without this game sucking so fucking hard, we wouldn't have gotten greats such as Colors or Generations, you know. Even Unleashed, especially with the daytime stages, you know, that can be a really good time. You know, I hear a lot of people say all the time that, you know, this game should be remade and re-released, you know, with all the fixed shit. I say don't bother. There's no point. This game's damage has been done. Sega wants nothing to do with this game from now until he dies. So they shouldn't waste their resources. Just keep pressing on, you learn from this, and you improve upon your mistakes. At the end of the video, thank God. Okay, So remember what I said for the next 6 parts, because you know we still got Silver and Shadow to do. I'm pretty much just gonna be making them Q&A Let's Play parts. So if you got a question you want to ask me or something you're curious about, just type your question in the comment box below. I will read the questions I will read as many questions as I can throughout the parts. Yeah, I'll see you guys. I'm actually gonna be taking a break for 1 day so I can get everything edited up and ready to go, and so I can sort out the comments and questions I'm most likely going to get. And I will see you guys Saturday night with the very first part of Silver's very hard mode playthrough. Alright guys, take care.